Okay, so I am moving this out so it's not whatever. Okay, there's a couple things that we need to mention about the effects of a currency change. Let me hide that. Effects of currency change. I'll just say effects of appreciation and depreciation of currency. Okay. So, here's the thing. This is not confusing, but if you think about it too hard, it'll be confusing. Okay? It's not confusing though. Because y'all don't typically think of a dollar as like any other product, like a candy bar or a phone or a bottle of water. If the price of it goes up or the price of it falls, it changes your behavior of how much you buy it. If a phone is cheaper, you buy more phones. If a phone's more expensive, you buy less phones. But let's talk about appreciation and depreciation. So if a currency appreciates, it's just like anything else that becomes more expensive. If a currency appreciates, it doesn't matter which reason. Maybe there's more demand, maybe there's less supply. If the price of it goes up, it's now more expensive. For currency, it's more expensive for foreigners. That's what it means. So if a currency appreciates, it's more expensive for foreigners to buy that currency. It's more expensive for foreigners to buy that currency. So they buy less. Only if you buy less of a currency and you have less, let's say, euros, because the euro appreciated, can you buy as much European stuff if you have fewer euros? No. So what happens to how much Europe can export? It decreases. So what happens to net exports of Europe? It decreases. So if a currency appreciates, that country's net exports will fall as foreigners can no longer afford to buy things from that country because the currency is too expensive. So if I don't have the currency, I can't buy their stuff. And so if a currency appreciates, it's more expensive for foreigners to buy that currency, so they buy less. Net exports fall of that currency. That's XN. XN will go down. The exact opposite is true if a currency depreciates. That's why we talked about the other day. Maybe I don't remember if it was this class or not. Like China keeps their currency depreciated. Like they purposely depreciate their own currency, and you're thinking, why would that be? So we buy their stuff, so their net exports goes up. And so, like if a currency depreciates, it's cheaper for foreigners to buy that currency. It's cheaper for foreigners to buy that currency. So they buy more. Cody, if it's cheaper for you to buy euros, you can buy more euros. What are you going to do with all those euros? Where are you going to spend all those euros? In Europe. And so Europe will sell more. Can someone get the door for the love of God?
You're just going to cut it off.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Tanner, calm down. Okay, so net exports in that country, if the currency depreciates, goes up because it's like their money's on sale. Their money is cheaper, so you get more money. You got to buy more stuff with their money. Okay, so I had a student last year or 2 years ago, it feels like now, that came up with a clever way to remember what happens to net exports. And she's like, it's how you draw your letters. So here's like a quick little fast way to remember. If a currency appreciates with an A, Net exports goes down. If a currency depreciates with the D, net exports goes up. So that arrow is telling you what's happening to net exports. So if it appreciates, net exports falls. If it depreciates, net exports goes up.
So it's problematic if you draw your letters.
Don't draw your letters differently.
Some people do.
Okay. But I do want to give you one example that it confused last class period, but I don't, maybe I said it funny. So I'm going to slow down. I'm going to say it again. And I think it'll be easier. Okay. Ooh, I have a thing. I'll just give this to you now. This is what we're going to work on today. We're going to do some currency practice, which is for you. But we're going to do the bottom left box together. How do you depreciate? The government controls the supply of currency. So they control supply. Or
So how do you do that?
okay, I think the camera is like not okay. Also, Ryan, you go to total registration Tomball, you Google that. I think it's like the second link. The government also controls interest rates. So if I don't want my currency to depreciate, I will keep my interest rates low to not entice people to come to my country for savings. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the bottom left-hand box. Andrew, we're doing the dollar and the euro. So draw a dollar and euro graph. So I'm going to do US dollar and euro. Remember euro over dollar. Quantity. Man. Hey, what's due on Monday? Binder. If you haven't looked at, if you have everything in the top 10 list and you do it over the weekend and you realize that you are missing a packet or something, it's due on Monday. It's due when you get back. So I would look today. To make sure you have everything. Otherwise, you are might be missing something that I could have sworn I had it. And, sorry, too bad. Okay. As you guys are working on this, I'm going to be passing back quizzes. Yeah. Okay, so notice how it says at the bottom, it says U.S. Inflation high relative to the rest of the world. Inflation is high in the United States. So United States has high inflation. Let's talk about a short run effect of high inflation. Before you do any graphing, I don't want you to change your graph at all right now. It's the bottom left. It used to top.
Right.
No, it's important to read. Reading is important. We're bottom left. And by left, I mean over here. Okay. It's upside down. Okay, Bailey. What does it mean that there's high inflation in the United States? Use your own words.
Like, there's more money.
Was that what inflation is?
No.
Eric, I know that you're working on that. But I also want you to be paying attention. What does it mean to have high inflation in a country? Prices go up. Okay, so Anna, if prices are expensive in the United States, what happens to net exports in the United States at first, based on those high inflation in U.S., what happens to our net exports if prices are high here? It goes down. Why? It's too expensive. They're going to buy less. They're going to buy less of our stuff. Net exports goes down at first because of those high prices. You guys know that. That's not anything new. Okay, so I want you to graph on your paper what's going to happen to the value of the U.S. dollar and the euro. If there's high inflation in the United States, everything is too expensive here. They're not buying our stuff. I'll give you a second to graph that. Follow the rules.
Wait, are we supposed to go?
I'm not asking from a certain perspective. You can do any perspective as long as you follow the rules. One supply shift, one demand shift, same direction. One appreciates, one depreciates.
I have a question.
After you graph, I'd love to hear it.
I already grabbed.
Okay, well, let's give someone else time. What'd you see? Okay, so you have registered. Go to home. Okay, so let me see if you're on my wait list. I have no control over like approving the wait list, but I can send that info to Miss Christ, who can then approve it. Okay. It says you paid. I don't know why you didn't pop up before. Yeah, you paid in October.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I typed in a search like find on the page and I typed your name and it didn't work. Okay. Yeah.
Could he pay without registering or something?
I don't know. I
I
don't
don't know
know.
if it's possible.
I don't think so.
I mean,
Okay.
he just registered.
So I'm going to go over both examples. I'm only going to draw one. But Layla, high inflation. What did you do to your dollar graph?
I took the demand would go to shift to the left.
Did anyone put something different? That's right. If you're thinking as a European. Anna, what did you do?
I was supply to the left because we exchange money and they're buying one from here, so demand was right.
Supply which direction? To the right. Okay, you said left. Okay, that's both of those are correct. I'm going to do Layla's version because that makes more sense to me of like I don't want to buy there because it's too expensive. And so demand shifts to the left. And because Europeans are like, no, too expensive, I'm going to keep my own money to myself. Thank you. Okay, those little blanks underneath where it says dollar, euro, you're going to write the words appreciate and depreciate. And so, Layla, what happened to the value of the US dollar? It depreciated. What happened to the euro? It appreciated. So you can do like depreciated, appreciated, or the letter D and A, things like that. But here's the thing. At first, because our goods were too expensive, no one bought our stuff. And then export's false. But that caused our currency to depreciate. What happens to our XN if our currency depreciates?
It goes up.
It goes up again. So we just made the business cycle. Remember how the economy like goes up and down, up and down? That's what this is. The economy, like GDP fell, like net exports falls, and aggregate demand shifts to the left, and we're in a recession. But then because of that, no one wants our currency if it's too expensive, but then that depreciates our currency, which makes our net exports goes up in the long run. And then we're aggregate demand shifts back to the right, and we're like not in a recession anymore. So it kind of self-corrects. So at first net exports goes down, but because of that, it depreciates our currency and makes net exports go back up. Good job, Layla. I have stickers. Here they are. Ryan, you have a question?
So why is there no long run
There is
when
no.
it comes to currency? If currency is relevant, relative to the economy, and the economy always balances itself out.
Because we're going to show that on aggregate supply and demand. I can't show net exports going up or down here because net exports doesn't shift this curve. Net exports, this affects net exports, which then shifts aggregate demand. And there's an LRAS on there.
Okay.
So we can show it on that graph.
But there's no long run.
There's no long run
equilibrium between the two.
Yeah.
Even though there's a long run equilibrium between the two
Aggregates.
economies.
Yes.
And the currency is relative to the economy.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, so you have this. Find a friend. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes to do the rest. I do want to make one change, though. You see this box right here that says savings rates decline in the United States? I have no idea what I was thinking when I wrote that. Scratch out savings and put interest. Of course, I want you to keep savings in your brain when you think about interest rates, but it should say interest rates decline in the U.S. or whatever. Interest rates in the United States decline. Okay, find a friend. Get to work. I will be going over some things here in a little bit.